Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when you discover it's a game, playing isn't an option. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, the relationship that you were a part of, it was a game, and you did not know it. Because the narcissist entrapped you. They got you to enter that relationship, most likely under false pretenses. They wore a mask and they manipulated you and took advantage of you. All the things that I share on the channel. But when you finally get the message and you finally understand that this is nothing but a game to the narcissist actually needed you, and they need people to regulate themselves. And they placed you in the trauma bond early on, let's say after that love bomb / euphoric stage. Maybe for you it lasted a few months, maybe it was a year, a couple weeks, I can't tell you. But once they batted their eyelashes at you and showed you their rosy cheeks, or maybe you fell in love with their intelligence or their physical features, who knows, but they got really close to you. When you fell in love with them or entered the relationship, maybe you became roommates and roommates went to romance, and then eventually romance went to roommates, and you figured out that the narcissistic relationship was something that you had never experienced before and that you didn't know what it was. And then you found the needle in a haystack. You got your first light bulb moment and you said to yourself, wait a minute, I was just completely being manipulated. I was giving to a fault. Maybe I was a people pleaser. Maybe I was an empath. Maybe you still are an empath. Maybe you're the educated empath. Maybe you couldn't say no, the strongest word in the English language. Perhaps you didn't have boundaries. Maybe you were believing in the mask through and through, thinking that that person was like-minded, that they had your best interest at heart, and that their words would match their actions, or their actions would match their words. Again, it's all smoke and mirrors in the narcissistic relationship. They will say anything they can to get close to you because they want to take what you have or what you had. And that does include your time, your energy, love, money, empathy, your social circle, your status, your tangible assets, your 401k, your house, your car, your support network. They wanted to take everything they possibly could and more. And you may say, well, Andrew, you're being a little rough here. That's not the case. It is the case. You need to really understand the relationship that you were a part of. It was nothing but a shell game to the narcissist. You weren't the only source of supply, whether you put a wedding ring on their finger or not. It wasn't just you. That's why the narcissist frequently, once they have you locked down, let's say use marriage as an example, you get married, they now know they have you, and they actually believe that they own you. And many times, and you can read it in the comments on the videos I create, many times the narcissists themselves, once the wedding bells had rung, or throughout the relationship, or even before you were married with them, they would say, I own you. You're going nowhere. You're mine. I possess you. You can't live without me. They would say things like that. And there are so many reasons why they say things like that. One reason is because they actually believe it, because they had you placed in the trauma bond at that point, most likely. But number two, this is exactly what they believe. They believe that they own people's lives, that they own people's energy, and that they own anything about the person. That's why breaking the trauma bond is one of the most, if not the most challenging thing to do known to humanity. But I did it. If I did it, you can do it. You need to really understand that the relationship that you were and or are a part of, it's nothing but a game to the narcissist. It's a game of cat and mouse, of hide and seek, of catch and release, to test you to see if you actually will heal. Will you be strong enough to go no contact, to block the narcissist, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them from your life? If you've done that, drop comments below. If you haven't, my hope is you're working towards that or developing an exit plan, because the narcissist does know what they're doing. They are calculated. They creep into your life in an insidious manner. They want to infiltrate your life and take anything they can from you. That is why, again, when you're in these relationships, you lose your identity to the narcissist. You put your hobbies on hold. You put your life on hold. You put all of your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations on hold, thinking that they will come to fruition with the narcissist. But most likely there, the narcissist was future faking, or they did not want you to accomplish everything you shared with them in the love bomb or euphoric stage. This is all the smoke and mirrors of the narcissist. So when you realize it's a game, this is not worth playing. As a matter of fact, once you figure out that you were and or are with a narcissistic individual, you need to really understand these relationships only deteriorate over time. And there's one person who pays the price for these relationships usually, but not always, and it would be you. because you are the kind, loving person. You're the beautiful, bright, shining light that I speak of on the channel and in the community. You're me, I'm you. We're an empath. We are kind, loving people, and we did not know what we were up against when we entered these relationships. The narcissist slithered into our lives, and they wanted us to fall in love with them, or build a relationship with them, or go into business with them, or put a roof over their head, or raise their children, or create children, or pay for their extended family members in different countries. Who knows what they wanted to get from you, but they wanted it all. That is why, again, if you are trying to divorce the narcissist, it is a very challenging and difficult experience to go through, to say the least, because the narcissist doesn't care about the proceedings. They don't care about turning in their paperwork. They don't care about being punctual. They don't care about being at the attending the dates for the court, etc. They'll blow all those things off, and right there they're doing that to drag it out and to twist the knife some more into you, and to make that relationship or the ending of it last as long as possible, because they really want to live in your head, and they really want to frustrate you, and they do not want to abide by the rules. The narcissist believes they are above the rules, that they are above the law, that nobody can tell them what to do. Not their mom, not their romantic interest, not their mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister. They don't care about anybody but themselves. So when you understand this was just a game, and it's a game not worth playing, you need to understand in a board game, let's use Monopoly or chess or checkers or something like that. Chess is actually a very deep one, but the point being, when you're playing a game, you're usually playing against a friend or an acquaintance, and you're testing each other's knowledge to see who can win the game. But eventually that game comes to an end and somebody wins. Unless it's in chess, it's a stalemate. That is what happens. But when you are in a relationship that you believed was built on trust, on love, on honor, on commitment, on dedication, devotion, on love, and you were giving all of those traits and or attributes that you possess to the relationship and to the person you fell in love with, and that other person turns out to be a narcissist, they don't possess any of those things. They don't possess 1/1,000,000th of any of those things. They will tell you that they do, and they can fake love, and they can fake empathy, and they can fake that they care about you, and they can shed crocodile tears, and they can attend weddings and funerals and events and act like they're really into these things. All of those events and weddings and funerals, it's all supply for the narcissist. Every single one of those. The narcissist doesn't care if somebody passed. They don't care if someone's living. All they care about is themselves and how they can manipulate other people and take from other people. So when you understand that the board game, like I talked about, chess, checkers, Monopoly, whatever it was, first of all, when that board game, when you're played the game with somebody, let's say it's a coworker or a friend, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And whoever wins, wins, and that's great. And then maybe next time the other person wins. But that's a game. There's closure, there's finality, you know who won, that's it. In the narcissistic relationship, let's use chess as the analogy. This is exactly how they look at the relationship with you, and they still do if you're still in the relationship. They looked at it as you were playing mental chess with them on a chessboard, and they got to move their chess pieces 3 moves in the beginning. 1, 2, 3. They could move any 3 pieces they wanted to. They had a head start on you because you didn't know that you were A, playing a game with the person, but B, that this was nothing but a game to them, and C, they were going to drag this out as long as possible. So this is why once you get the wisdom and once you have your first light bulb moment and you finally understand, oh my goodness, this is a narcissistic relationship, I need to get out of here, that's when it's checkmate for you. That's when you no longer play the game. That's when you no longer participate, and you leave the chessboard behind, and you leave the king or queen in the corner, and you call checkmate. You're not playing, but you've won, and the narcissist is trapped on that chessboard, because what will they do? They will just rearrange the pieces, and they will have another person play the game with them that doesn't know they are playing the game. Understand what I'm sharing with you? There are some very deep thoughts in this video, because chess is a game that I love, and actually have played it throughout my whole childhood and my adult life during periods of times. But when you come through the narcissistic abusive cycle and you rise through the ashes like a phoenix, and you look back in time at the relationship and how you entered it and what your state of mind was and what you thought people thought of you, etc., and then you go through a discard, and then you really have to put yourself back together and pick yourself up and dust yourself off by the bootstraps, and then you apply all of your experiences of life and then your relationship when you were with the narcissist, and you use the chess analogy. It is a very deep analogy, and it is completely correct to the T. A game of chess, a real life game of chess, is 2 people playing. To the narcissist, every relationship is a game of chess that they have the advantage of until that person, which was you and was me, understands that they are in the game. They no longer participate and it is checkmate. You win. That's how this thing works. So understand this. Now the trauma bond, I want to focus on this for a moment. If you were caught up in it, drop comments below. It's not a good place to be existing because you feel helpless. You feel like you want to talk to the narcissist. You're waiting for their phone calls, their texts. And as soon as you hear from them, you get a breath of relief or a dopamine or adrenaline hit. And then let's say that they did call you and they talked to you for a minute. Well, that call usually is not about anything other than themselves or what you did or didn't do. Then you hang up the phone and then you're jonesing or you're waiting to hear from them again. That's not a good space to be in. That was me. And if it's you, you really need to understand that this is nothing but a game to the narcissist. That is why you need to understand getting away from these people, going no contact, not accepting the phone calls if you have the ability to do so, having an exit plan, saving and conserving your energy and your resources for yourself. That's what you need to do. And you need to begin soon, because the longer you're in communication with the narcissist, once you know they are a narcissist, and if you have the ability to remove yourself from that relationship, the more this is going to get dragged out. And it is not just you they are communicating with. Think about when you were with the narcissist and their smartphone or smartphones, whether they had one or three, doesn't matter. Point is, they were on the smartphone more times, giving that more attention than when they were with you. You could be at a movie theater sitting right next to them watching a movie and they would be on their smartphone. They would not be watching the movie. Why? Because they can't sit still and watch a movie. They need to be on their smartphone. Again, you could be on the couch watching Netflix with them sitting right next to you. And they could be saying, oh, just put the movie and everything's fine, I'll watch it with you. And then 15 seconds into the movie, they're on one of their smartphones and they're claiming they're doing work. You end up watching the movie by yourself and they're getting supply or looking for your replacement, or on dating apps or social media apps, just searching and surfing for other sources of supply. These are all games to the narcissist. Think about, what do you think triangulation is? Triangulation is when you are in the relationship with them and they throw a third wheel in there, whether that person exists or not. And they say that that person is giving them compliments and telling them they look so beautiful and great and everything, or they're the best thing since sliced bread, and you do nothing for them. That's just one tiny, tiny little example of triangulation. But what does it have you doing? It has you stopping in your tracks thinking, wait, I compliment my spouse all the time. I tell them they look amazing. And what I don't get this. Well, now you're doubting yourself, aren't you? And then what are you doing? You're working more for the narcissist. You're paying them more compliments. You're doing more things for them. You are not being yourself, and you're being pushed to the brink. And they know this. That's what triangulation is in a tiny nutshell. It's the same thing with the smear campaign. Think about it. When the narcissist instilled the smear campaign on you, it was during the relationship, I can promise you. You just didn't know it. But you watched people that you had known for a lifetime or years look at you in a different way, or perhaps not spend as much time with you or ask about how you're doing, because you were being isolated from those people, because the narcissist knew that you were close to those people, and they tried to drive a wedge between you and those people, and they succeeded because you didn't know you were part of a game. You didn't know you were a pawn about to be a king or a queen and call checkmate in the future. But you were just a pawn. You were on that chessboard being moved around randomly. You didn't have direction. You didn't know what was going on, but all of your resources were taking hits, and you were being isolated, left on that island. You were being left all by yourself. And the narcissist was pressing the gas pedal of abuse more and more and more. And they watched your life implode. When they were sitting right next to you, when they were on an airplane, when they were grabbing dinner with you, when they would be ghosting you, when you would be waiting outside to pick them up from work, when you would be planning vacations and the vacation would be blown up by the narcissist, when your birthday wouldn't be celebrated, perhaps you would get a old smelly shoe from 5 years ago, happy birthday, or like I did, a coffee mug for a milestone birthday. This is how little the narcissist cares about people. But it isn't just you. Life to the narcissist is literally a game to move around from city to city, town to town, country to country, leaving a wake of destruction, manipulation, lies, devastation, deceit, and destruction. I think I said that twice in their path. And once that mask slips finally, and once the narcissist shows you who they really are, that is something you can't unsee, because you were in that relationship for whatever length of time, and you were giving the best of yourself to that person. And that person was giving you absolutely nothing. They were giving you less than nothing, because they knew where they placed you. They placed you in the trauma bond. They knew they had you hooked. They knew that you couldn't break free because you didn't know where you were. Now you're getting the wisdom. Now you're applying the tools. Now you're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And what you are, just like this video and behind me, that's you right there. You're a beautiful, bright, shining light beaming through the trees. That is you. You need to play this and play it often, because you are not the narcissist. You are not a dark energy force. You are not somebody who's trying to take from people. You are not someone who's trying to manipulate. You are not someone who will participate in a game that you did not even know you were a part of. I'm going to go back to the chess analogy one more time. If you're playing the game of chess, you're playing it with just two people, one-on-one, and you're trying to win, but you're having fun and you're engaging and having intelligent conversation, usually, not always, but you know the game's going to end. That is the narcissistic relationship. They will continue to play that game with you as long as you will take a bite of that forbidden fruit and stay in the game. And they will continue to move you around like a pawn until you block them and go no contact, and then isolate them in their own corner and call checkmate and leave them stuck on the board and leave them looking for another partner to manipulate and take advantage of. Because at one point that was you, and it certainly was me, and it's not a fun place to be existing in the narcissistic fog, to be devalued each and every day, and to have each and every one of your relationships implode on a dime when you're discarded. That is not a good experience at all. And that is exactly why, again, I'm going to say it to you one more time. That's you, the beautiful, bright, shining light, the energy source, the abundant person, the person that is having doors open up for them, the person that is having a world of opportunities lying right before them, narcissist-free. The narcissist never thought you would figure them out. They honestly thought they would keep you stuck and trapped on that chessboard, moving around aimlessly. But that's not what happened. What happened is you got the wisdom, you applied the tools, and you went no contact. And you understand that, yes, it was challenging. Yes, it was hard. Yes, you had to do a lot of things that you didn't want to do. Example, be alone and have them be self-isolate and be by yourself and heal childhood wounds and journal and read and see a therapist and watch videos and meditate and slow your life down. You had to do all those things. That's what I had to do. But there's no other way to the healing path to get to that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, than doing all those things. You can't put a Band-Aid on this. You can't wish that time will cure it for you. You can't hope the narcissist will change. You can't just hang out in your house and think that you're going to get healed by doing nothing. It doesn't work that way. This is a test. It's a lifelong learning test that you must pass. And so many of you have passed. So many of you have reached the pinnacle of indifference. That is a place where the narcissist does not know that it exists. They can't fathom how you could get there. They can't fathom how somebody could break the trauma bond. They can't fathom how that person is not playing on that chessboard any longer. The reason they're not on that chessboard any longer, again, and I was one of those people, so I can say this, is because I didn't know I was even on the chessboard. I didn't know I was part of a game. I didn't know I was being manipulated. When I figured that out, no contact blocking, that's the path. And then everything began to return to me. It took time, it took a lot of time, but in my time I healed. And you too will do the same. You need to understand, once you identify that this person you're thinking of is a toxic person, you need to remove yourself, because it's nothing but a game to them. And as long as you are participating, they will continue to move the chess pieces around the board. Everyone, I hope you liked the video. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that, you are not alone. And the chess analogy, I really mention that a lot because it's completely true. If you look back at your life when you were with the narcissist, it was nothing but a game to them. How much they could accumulate, how much they could take, how much you would give. And then eventually you became small and an extension of the narcissist. You lost your hobbies, your health, your network, your friends, maybe even your immediate family members. But then when the narcissist was removed, or you were discarded, or the relationship ended, or you removed them, that's when things started to get back to normal. And again, once you heal properly from the narcissistic relationship, you're not normal. You're a superhuman being, because you're now in the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. It's a place that the narcissist can't fathom. It's a place that most people can't fathom, actually. But then again, you were in a relationship that nobody even knew existed, but now you do. That's why when you heal, you deserve to be where you are at that pinnacle of indifference. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye, guys.